India should not be too happy with China's so-called generosity, because it can always take a U-turn and turn India into a puppet. Just imagine, it's midnight, everything around you is silent, and suddenly, all the lights in your house go out. At first, you think it's just a power fault, but then you realize the switch is not in your hands, it's in someone else's. They can turn the lights back on if they wish, or they can leave you in darkness forever. Sounds scary, doesn't it? But this is the exact reality for a vast and powerful nation like India when it comes to those rare minerals on which the modern world runs today. China holds this switch in its hands, and from time to time, it switches it on or off to remind the world of its power. Recently, it has switched it on for India by lifting the ban on exports of critical items like fertilizers, rare earths, and magnets. But the real question is this truly an act of generosity, or is it the beginning of a new conspiracy? Today, we will dive deep into this subject. But before that, if you are new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe so that you get updates on all our new videos first. So, let's begin today's discussion without any delay. The relationship between India and China has never been straightforward. It has always been filled with suspicion, competition, and strategic maneuvers. Sometimes, the world sees pictures of handshakes at the border, while at other times, the Galwan Valley witnesses bloody clashes and the sacrifice of soldiers. At times, trade agreements are signed, while at other times, tanks stand face to face along the border. China's policies have always been cloaked in ambiguity. It never appears as a complete enemy, yet never truly as a genuine friend either. Its real strength lies in keeping the other side confused and uncertain. Even this time, when it allowed exports to India, this step was not merely commercial. It was part of a deeper geopolitical strategy. Because China knows very well that India is dependent on it for several critical things. India's biggest dependence is on rare earth minerals. The term rare earth might sound like these elements are extremely scarce on the planet. But the truth is, they are fairly abundant. The real challenge lies in extracting and processing them. Rare earths are a group of 17 elements that form the backbone of modern technology. Just look around you. Your smartphone, laptop, electric car, television, wind turbines, even the small LED bulb in your home, all depend on rare earths. Military missiles, jet engines, radar systems, and satellites orbiting in space, these too function because of these minerals. Without them, modern civilization as we know it would be incomplete. Now imagine, who controls these minerals the most? The answer is China. Nearly 60 to 70% of global production comes from China. Not only that, but over 80% of refining and processing is also in China's hands. This means that even if rare earths are mined in Australia or Africa, the task of making them usable is mostly done in China. It's like wheat growing across the world, but only one country owning the flour mills. That country would then decide who gets bread and who stays hungry. That is the true strength of China. India's biggest crisis is that most of its essential needs are fulfilled by China. If China decides to cut supplies, our industries could shut down. Electronics would collapse, automobiles would come to a halt, defense production would face a crisis, and the dream of green energy would remain incomplete. China has used this weapon before. Japan experienced it in 2010 when a maritime border dispute arose between the two nations, and China suddenly stopped rare earth exports. Japanese companies were shaken. Everything from cars to electronics was affected. The US and the European Union too have fallen prey to this weapon multiple times. China's policy is very simple. As long as you follow me, the supply will remain open. The moment you oppose, the supply tap will be closed. But China's most dangerous move is that it never cuts off supply permanently. It knows that if it imposes a complete and long-term ban, countries will begin looking for alternatives, finding new suppliers, producing on their own, or developing new technologies. That would weaken China's grip. So instead, it adopts a cyclical policy, sometimes imposing restrictions, sometimes lifting them. This keeps other nations in a constant state of uncertainty. They never become truly independent and always live with the fear that supplies might stop completely tomorrow. That fear itself is China's ultimate weapon. This is exactly what happened this time too. As India and the US experienced a slight distancing in their relationship, China took advantage of the opportunity. It thought that by giving India some relief, it could pull it closer to its side. But China never considers anyone as an equal friend. Its mindset has always been, either you are an enemy or you are my puppet. If India celebrates too much over this so-called generosity, it would be making a grave mistake. History bears witness, China's trust is as fragile as glass, ready to shatter at any moment. India too has understood this threat. That is why the government has begun taking steps towards self-reliance. State-owned companies like 𝐼REL are working with Japan and South Korea to manufacture rare earth magnets. India has signed agreements with countries like Australia, Argentina, Zambia, Peru, and Russia. On Independence Day, Prime Minister Modi clearly stated that India must achieve self-reliance in critical minerals. Exploration campaigns are underway in more than 1,200 locations across the country. By amending the Mines and Minerals Act, private companies are also being allowed to enter the sector. But the path to self-reliance is not easy. Mining damages the environment, processing is expensive, and it will take many years to achieve large-scale results. China is fully aware that India is still in the early stages. Until India becomes completely self-sufficient, China will continue using this weapon. This is why the battle is not just about industries, but also about national security. Because if tensions flare up at the border and China cuts off supplies, India's defense capabilities will be directly impacted. Today, India stands at a crossroads with only two options. Either it can trust China and once again fall back into dependency, or it can choose the difficult but stronger path of building its own mineral chain. The US and Europe too have started new mining projects in recent years. Japan has partnered with Australia. For India as well, this is the only viable path. China's real strategy is to give temporary relief from time to time, just enough to keep us dependent. It is like a prisoner kept in chains who is given a little water occasionally, just enough to keep him alive, but never enough to let him dream of freedom. India must now decide whether it will finally learn from history or not. Because trusting China is like building a palace on ice. It may look beautiful, but it can melt away at any moment.
If our video has taught you something new, do not forget to like and share this video so that this information can reach others as well. Your likes and shares are a source of inspiration for us. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let us know in the comments. It will be our honor to answer your questions and listen to suggestions. And yes, if you like our content, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you stay connected with every new story. Thank you. GRT Business YouTube channel sources, news from various news agencies, opinion polls and other public sources. We try to ensure that every report and summary is accurate and verified, but we are not responsible for any dispute or error. Our aim is only to provide you with accurate information.